What's going on, YouTube? And I have for you today something special, very special. I'm going to share with you a secret to taking down this bad boy right here, the Evolve Bamboo GTR, the Ferrari of electric skateboards, the Maserati of four-wheel electric vehicles. Okay? Alright? It's a rainy day out today. Perfect day to show you what I have for you here. I wanted to spend just a little more time with it, but I'm just too excited to bring to you what I discovered here just maybe a week or two ago. So to my left here I got an Ownboard Bamboo GT, and I have here an Evolve GTR. There are a lot of versus videos out there that kind of details both of them, the decks, the battery, the range, performance, all that. But this guy is a little special. It has a Flipsky 6.6 VESC mini and a Flipsky X B1 remote. And that changes everything, changes the game. So basically, the motherboard that operates this one is upgraded. And wow, what a difference. So does this Ownboard have what it takes to defeat the Evolve, basically at twice the price? And we'll talk about that. The build quality. So still here, Evolve is going to win. They just have one of the nicest boards, the nicest deck, the nicest looking battery enclosure, trucks, everything, super premium, one of the best out there. This is like their third or fourth generation board. They've been doing it a while. Ownboard, I believe this is their first attempt at this GTR style board. They basically are kind of copying a lot of the design cues coming off of the Evolve, which a lot of the market is doing. Boosted board is one, Evolve is another. You know, basically all these Chinese manufacturers have their version of these boards. So build quality, Evolve is still going to take it, but it's taking it at double the price. Now, performance. So this is where I would say it's a tie. It is a tie because top speed is the same. Top speed on this guy is the same as this guy. The acceleration, Evolve has still programmed some crazy hardest hitting acceleration out of these small little, 50, 53 motors out there. But it's only for just maybe a couple of feet. And then this Ownboard with the larger motors really catches up and almost overtakes it. Okay, so another thing, everybody knows, or at least if you're an e-skater and you're familiar with Evolve, Evolve is not the strongest hill climber, and that's the case here. So the motors here, or let's just back it up a little bit. The decks. The decks are the same length, 38, 39 inches. The big difference here is the Bamboo has a beautiful, nice drop-down little feature that the Evolve doesn't have. The Evolve has like a deeper concave deeper and the same throughout the whole deck. Versus the bamboo deck, it kind of gets wider where you put your feet, thinner in the middle, and it's more shallow of a concave. Makes it just a little bit more comfortable for cruising. Also, in the deck department, this is where the Ownboard wins. The Ownboard has the more flexy deck. I love a flexi deck. That's just a personal preference. Some guys like it stiffer, some guys like it a little bit softer, you know what I mean? Sure, a little soft. Some guys like it a little limpy. Me, I'm one of those guys. I like that flexi deck. The flexi deck absorbs, you know, all the kind of imperfections in the road, and I like the ride of the flexi deck. So this deck wins. Plus that little drop down feature, you can kind of put your feet towards the back and the front of it for a hard acceleration or a really hard braking. You can kind of place your feet there. Versus the Evolve, it's just flat from the rear truck all the way to the front. You can't really do that here on the Evolve. Versus the Ownboard, you can just place your feet here and there, and you can hit it with that hard acceleration and that hard braking. So that's the deck. The batteries are basically near identical. They're like 504 watt-hour. Gives you anywhere from 22-ish, 25-mile range depending on your wheel setup and gear setup. But it gives you pretty good range. 25 miles on the 105 cloud wheels. I never really maxed out the range in the Evolve, but very similar range. Really, really good range. Hill climbing, Ownboard wins. You know, another check mark over here. With these huge motors, they don't even get hot. You know, you can just buzz up the hill 20, maybe 19, 20 miles an hour. Zoom out the hill, never gets hot, never cuts out. Versus the Evolve, we all know that's a weakness of the Evolve. If you don't live by the hilly area, it doesn't matter at all. But if you're going to be climbing some hills, that is something to consider. That this guy is not really a good hill climber, especially if you put in larger tires. If you keep the wheels small, they could still eat up the hills pretty good. But the bigger the wheels you put on there, the lower amount of speed you can climb that hill, and it'll kick you out of mode. So say you're lower on battery life and you have a major hill in front of you, it can kick you out of that mode and out of the speed mode, like GTR mode, down to Pro or down to Eco, and that's like a jolting effect that it has when it does boot you out of those modes. So that's one thing that I don't like about the Evolve, that it can do that, you know. So now as far as how the deck feels and how it performs, another mod, a minor mod, but the bushings on here has been replaced from stock bushings to riptide bushings, which I guess are with the orangutan are the best out there that you can get. I believe it's like $50 to replace all the bushings around, maybe a little less or a little more, and the rear and front has been replaced with medium bushings in the rear, two medium and one soft in the front, just for easier turning. And this thing feels amazing. It feels really, really awesome. So for the feel of carving and riding, Ownboard wins again. Evolve does an amazing job. I love how it is too. I love it. It is flexy. It does give, but not as flexy as this. They're both maple fiberglass decks. The Evolve seems to just be like a hair slimmer itself. The deck itself is just maybe a millimeter or two slimmer than the Ownboards, but the Ownboard has much more give when you're standing on it. It could be the combination of the battery enclosure or just how that deck is, how the battery enclosures are constructed themselves. It seems like the the Ownboard's battery compartments, or you have more compartments there, and they're divided, you know, with a nice big gap, so it just gives that flexibility. The Ownboard, to me, feels better than the Bamboo. Okay. Now let's talk about versatility. The trucks, basically Ownboard uses an evolved Bamboo cloned truck. So anything, all the wheel setups, all-terrain wheels, ABEC wheels, cloud wheels, anything, gears, drive gears, basically anything that fits on the Evolve will fit on the Ownboard. Same diameter trucks that you could just basically like slide your wheel, you know, they're interchangeable. So if you want to put 5 wheels on here, you can. You want to put the ABEC 5 wheels on here, you can. That is a big bonus. So for instance, my buddy rides the V-Star, an amazing, awesome board. The only thing I wish they just used is the Evolve clone trucks. Then all those wheel options are open to if you want to change it. And that is the case here. So the trucks are pretty sturdy on the Ownboard. They're the best build quality on the Evolve. You can't knock it. But the Ownboard does a pretty good job too. They're actually, you know, it seems to be a little beefier and heavier in some places, just like the front truck, for instance, and the rear truck. They seem to be just like a little bit beefier. Now, as far as the weight of both these boards, they weigh around 22 pounds, something like that, 11 kilograms, whatever that works out to. So the weight is basically identical. Maybe the Ownboard is a smidge heavier, probably because these big motors here and the thickness of the trucks, but the weight is basically the same. Now, as far as value, alright. Right now, I just checked the GTR website. You can get this for $1,700. I don't know if that includes tax or shipping, but $1,700 is the price for the Evolve GTR, which is a discount. I believe that's a $200 discount. I believe the retail is like $1,900. The Ownboard with 120mm cloud wheels, $959 with a $50 discount, so puts you at $910 or $920. So basically an $800 difference between the Evolve brand new and the Ownboard brand new. That is a lot of money. But then again, this has been modified with that Flipsky Mini ESC and the Flipsky remote. And I believe the mods for this altogether is just under $300. You can get, of course, used parts for less, but even with the $300 on top of that, that's still 12 compared to 17. Now, for value, the Ownboard wins again. So I haven't been able to, I wish I had a stock Ownboard to test. This is the only Ownboard I've ever ridden. This one kicks ass and it rips. It does everything it should do, and it really surprised me. The acceleration, maybe for the first couple feet, the Evolve might get it, and that's if you go into the app, turn the acceleration all the way on, put it in GTR mode, and you hit it. Almost nothing out there for this price range accelerates like the Evolve. Crazy acceleration. I freaking love it. But you can say it's a little jarring. It's not really smooth. I mean, you really gotta brace yourself when you hit it. The Evolve still gets it by just a couple feet. And then this thing takes over, but it does it smoother and just it's more controllable. I feel more comfortable on this deck. I can put the foot on the back and hit that hit that acceleration, and then the braking also. So they complain about the stock Ownboard was the brakes. The Flipsky ESC fixes all that smooth, freaking butter smooth acceleration, butter smooth braking. It's so nice. It's so predictable. Even I'll give the Evolve that 3 feet, and then this takes over in every other aspect. Top speed is the same. The hill climbing ability is way better. You do not tax the motors, So for performance, I still give it to the Ownboard, even though the vicious acceleration here on the Evolve is pretty sweet too. So, who do I think wins the Smackdown? In my opinion, it's just like a little bit handy. If you can tinker just a little bit, if you don't mind opening up your board, unscrewing it, getting in there, replacing the ESC, get that Ownboard. Get that Ownboard, put that Flipsky mini ESC in there, and you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. So, I almost missed it. So here are the controllers. So the Evolve controller, everybody knows it's pretty nice. It has that display. But for me, if my finger, after riding for hours, actually tends to like cramp up. I feel a lot of effort here to use this trigger, and then the brakes. Another thing, like I have fallen almost top speed, kind of not accidentally tapping the brakes, but when you're in GTR mode, not only is the acceleration increased, the braking power is increased. So I mean, really, you just tap on it, but it comes on so hard that I've actually fallen, 20 plus miles an hour because of the brake. So I actually prefer the scroll wheel. Not only is this just, my thumb is bigger, it's a bigger finger, and it's just easier to just rest in a position, any position I want. So I would say the controller here, the Flipsky, it's small, it's comfortable, it's matte finish on there. This to me is a better controller, more comfortable, even though it doesn't have the display, all that fancy display. I'm not looking down at my display when I'm really riding anyway. I mean, I might glance at it here and then, but that to me is not a major loss. This is way more comfortable. Plus, I've heard of these controllers just exploding when they hit the ground for the first time. And this is not a cheap, so the controller itself is $150. So how often do you want to be replacing these guys? So I got this case for it. Just if I've never dropped it, but just in case I do drop it, I don't want to be getting another one. So at the end of the day, folks, if you're a little bit handy, if you don't mind waiting for parts, because the GT is going to give you the support. So if you need parts for the GTR, you will get it quicker. But if it's not the battery itself, the trucks or the motors or anything else, you can get it. It's basically the Evolve part. So if you need parts for basically almost this whole, besides the battery itself, you can just get Evolve parts and throw them on. So hey, shout out to Edwin Chao. He's the gentleman who put together this setup here. He did an amazing job and knocked it out the park, and in my opinion, for hundreds less, killed this board right here. So props to him. I hope this, if you're on the fence about getting an Ownboard, this is just out of your price range, but you can get a good deal. So that's another thing. So as a reviewer, I'm buying and selling these boards myself, and theirs holds its value. So you can buy it brand new for $1,700, and then you can turn around and sell it for $1,500, because everybody knows Evolve, everybody knows Boosted. The Ownboard, on the other hand, not many people have heard of it, or it's just not been out there that long. So you might get half. You might buy it for $1,000. You might be able to get $500 or $600 for it, which is good if you're buying it. It's under it for selling. So you can get a whole one for a used one in decent shape for $500 or $600. get that ESC, throw that ESC in here, you have an evolved killer on your hands, or should I say, on your feet. Anyhow, I hope this review helped you. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hey, enjoy the Ownboard. Get it, mod it, rip on that shit. Peace.